Hi guys, this is a list of the best weapons to use in Black Ops 6 Zombies. I've got a lot of game time now, and a lot of you guys have kindly shared your gun recommendations with me, so I've compiled the list of the absolute best. And as we go, I'll also be showing you the best attachments to use for each one, because there's some killer attachments here which really need spotlighting. So, gently caress that like button for me, and we'll begin. Number 10 is the trusty XM4, but the reason it's number 10 is maybe not what you'd expect. So this gun is unlocked from early on, so it's great to start using when you begin a fresh prestige, and it's also frequently on the wall, so that means that you can set a zombie build in the menus and then buy it at higher rarity in a map, and there's not a lot of guns that have that option, so that automatically gives it points. Then on top of that, in terms of how easy it is to use, how much damage you can do, etc., it's really reliable. It's just a very reliable AR, but once you start getting some attachments, it becomes a completely new beast. I mean, I've been using it for my Liberty Falls Easter egg speedrun where I got a 22-minute time, and that's without glitches or gobblegums, so link in the description if you want to check that out. But my favorite way to build the XM4 is like this. This is so much fun. You whack on a couple of extra augments, like the Deadshot augments, the Speed Cola augments, and you basically never have to reload this thing. It is just plain glorious. I love using it. And that's important to consider as well, right? Like, damage output is one thing, but fun is another, and some of the guns on this list are a little more fiddly to use, whereas this one is a dream to use. It's really mobile, even when it is built this way with infinite ammo, so that's why the XM4 is on the list. And for attachments, this is what I'd recommend. Next, number 9 is the Marine SP. This is unlocked at level 4, so again, it's another really good one to have from the start of a prestige. It's got this sick Mastercraft Vault Edition skin, which just looks so amazing, and the weapon inspect is insane. And that also means that you can just jump into game with attachments straight away instead of having to unlock them at first, so that's a nice little added bonus. The good thing about the Marine SP is that it hits like a truck, and shotguns always end up being meta in zombies, and so the fact that there's a shotgun here that is meta is really no surprise. And when triple packed, it's just gonna delete things that are in front of it, especially if you whack on some of these attachments. I've had limited success though with the, for example, slug rounds and stuff like that. They just haven't quite met my expectations based on previous zombies games and how alternate ammo types for shotguns have worked in those. Like, historically, that's an incredibly powerful option, but here, it doesn't feel like it makes it completely Super Saiyan crazy awesome powerful. But let me know if you have a different experience in the comments. Number 8 is the AS Val, and this is unlocked right at the end of your prestige, so it's kind of the opposite of the previous two guns. And in terms of the overall game of Black Ops 6, so including multiplayer and stuff, it's one of the best guns in the game. It's a very, very strong assault rifle, and there's a bunch of reasons why it really slaps in zombies as well. So it's innately got a suppressor attachment. That means you're going to be getting a bunch of salvage. It's a wall buy in the Speed Cola tunnel, so again, you can get extra rarities on it for free instead of having to pay for those. It's really good unpack-a-punch. Like, you don't even need this thing packed for it to do good damage, and it's got a good amount of ammo as well. Like, you pack-a-punch it, you got 120 plus bullets in there, and it's got a really fast fire rate, so it's just doing a really large amount of DPS. Now, with that said, the other guns in this list are going to be even higher DPS because we've got some crazy powerful weapons coming up later in the video. So I don't want to make out like it's the best weapon in the game, but it's certainly a very strong pick. A reliable number 8, I would say. For your loadout on it, I would prioritize your bonus headshot damage using this barrel. I think that's really important. And then you'll also want to add some mobility, and a little mag size can't hurt as well, you know, just so you can start dumping ammo into zombies just like you did with the XM4. Number 7 is the Frostline, and this is the best just pure sniper in zombies, and we're going to whack an ADS red dot sight on it straight away, so pick your favorite. That's going to mean that we can get a faster ADS here, and when you load in with this thing and you've got that red dot sight on it and you aim at a zombie, you're probably going to be like, what the hell is this? This is disgusting. It is so not special. It feels awful. Like, MrRoflWaffles, you've led me astray. I'm unsubscribing. And if that's you, just pause, okay? Hit that pack-a-punch machine and then come back and resubscribe, because this is one of the best weapons in the whole game for taking down elites, taking down specials, and just generally shredding things in a couple of bullets. The fire rate goes super fast when it's packed. The ADS time is really good. If you pair it with Deadshot on controller, you're just never going to miss a crit. Like, you're just zooming in and tapping everything in its crit spot. And it's also going to do really strong collateral damage as well. So this thing really packs a punch, and I mean that literally. But I would say it doesn't get a higher ranking on this list because it's probably not the best to use as your main gun, but it's incredible to have as a secondary. So you could just whip it out, take out an elite with it, and then whip it back in, I guess. Then keep using your main gun, and then, oh, you get another mangler, whip it out, mangler's dead, instantly, gone. Boom, back to your main gun. easy. And for this, these are the attachments that I would recommend. Next is the Model L, and this is a cool one because we're going to just sort of visualize here how Pack-a-Punching and rarity changing can affect a weapon. So unpacked gray rarity, you're doing about 150 damage for a crit. Okay, nothing crazy. But then when you Pack-a-Punch it, you're first of all going to get double damage. Okay, so you're going to go to 300 a crit. Then if you bump that to blue rarity, you're going to go to 600 a crit. Purple rarity, 900 a crit. Then pack 2, 1800 a crit. And then pack 3 and gold rarity, 5600 a crit. And that is with Deadshot. But still, 5600 damage for one crit, and it's got 80 shots in a mag at base. Like, come on, this thing's strong. It can also be super agile, so you can do things like remove your sight and just put on a laser for extra hip firing ability, potentially. You could also do that drum mag option, but I don't think it's even worth it with this. I just wouldn't bother. And it's interestingly got a smoke grenade launcher attachment, which you can put on. And that way you can smoke busy areas like an arsenal machine to upgrade a weapon real quick. Like, you don't need a monkey bomb for that. So like having a free monkey bomb essentially, or a free decoy, that's amazing. And in terms of its performance against zombies, it's sort of fine against Manglers. I'd say that it does a completely decent job, and it really held its own before 30 against abominations with napalm burst as well. So yeah, this thing's a laser beam. It does a lot of damage, and I think the only downside is maybe that it doesn't have the fastest fire rate in the world, but honestly, I can get away with that if it's doing a massive amount of damage in the few bullets that it is firing. And for this, I'd say these are probably the attachments that I would go with. Next is the ASG-89. It's another shotgun. I already talked about the Marine SP. I said that shotguns were often meta in zombies. There's no exception with this shotgun. And the nice thing about this one is that you can spam it. Whereas the Marine SP, you can't spam in the same way. Spam is useful because if you miss a shot, it doesn't mean you're going to instantly just die. And it also means you can dump a lot of ammo into a boss all at once and chunk its health in a really big way. So if you're fighting the Terminus boss solo, for example, you could use this. If you're fighting an abomination, chunking a load of damage into one of its mouths is going to pop it very, very quickly. It's just overall a really solid weapon, and it's a shotgun that I think everyone should really get leveled up, because there's absolutely going to be points this year where shotguns are like the only viable weapon for certain things, and this is the weapon of choice that I'd pick in those scenarios. Next is the C9. This is my favorite SMG. This thing goes hard. It is so good, and it stays so good for so long. So you're obviously crazy maneuverable, which is really nice, because especially as you get into higher rounds here, those super sprinters, man, they're just so damn fast. Whereas this at least means that you can get away from them a bit more easily. And despite the fact that it's an SMG, it does more damage than the AS Val, which is kind of crazy to think about. So you can take out special zombies completely reasonably with this thing, and it's a wall weapon on both maps, so you get those benefits of being able to buy it off the wall at a higher rarity. And sure, the fire rate isn't crazy, but you can equip rapid fire at level 43, and that makes it just go bonkers. So overall, really fun weapon to use, very maneuverable weapon. These are the attachments that I might suggest to just really buff your movement speed a lot here and keep you nimble, and overall I'd say it's a very strong pick. Next is the GS45, which at base is just a humble pistol that sucks ass. But there are two things you need to do in order to make this thing god tier. It's the weapon of choice for a lot of speedrunners right now. It's the weapon of choice for a lot of solo boss fight attempts. It's just very good. And those two things are as follows. Number one, you need to level it to level 31. At level 31, you unlock this attachment, okay? It's going to allow you to put it akimbo, which again, unpack-a-punched is going to be lame as hell. It's going to be very mid. You also want to put on the rapid fire attachment. That is going to mean that you can fire a lot more quickly when we do the thing that we're about to do, and that's simply pack-a-punching it. As soon as you do that, it's going to turn into this game's equivalent of the Mustang and Sally's, which is the Sally and 4th in Black Ops 6, and combined with PhD, it is a completely transformative weapon. It will be so good for your runs. You'll basically never die again because you can just spam the ground and get out of any situation, and it does really good boss damage. Like Freckleston was telling me, it's amazing on the Terminus boss solo because it basically crits the boss anywhere on its body. So yeah, I really highly recommend using this one, and I think this one works especially well if you use it in conjunction with the big game augment on whatever ammo mod you're using, just so you can take down those elites a little bit more easily as well. Next, this needs no introduction. It's the Raygun. It's very strong in this game. There's a bunch of ways to get it for free, and I've made videos on how to do that already, like how to get it for free. It's in the top right hand corner of the screen right now and in the description down below. But if you're subscribed to me, you've probably already seen that, so good on you for being subbed, and if you're not subbed, then you're missing out, seriously. But no attachments that we can put on the Raygun other than maybe putting on the alternate weapon skin. Could be a cool pick. And that brings us to number 2 on our list, the LR762, which might be a really big surprise because I already talked about the fact that the Frostfire was an incredible sniper, best pure sniper in the game. So what's going on here? Well, similar to the GS45, it's kind of mid Unpack-a-Punch. In fact, it's less than mid. It blows. It really sucks. It's really slow and it's horrible. And yes, it has a rapid fire attachment, but it's broken. So good luck with that. But if you're playing on Liberty Falls, things change for this weapon, okay? So first of all, you can buy it off the wall at high rarity. That will fix the fire rate because then the attachment is no longer broken. And then when you go and Pack-a-Punch it, bro, it is so strong. It has explosive rounds, so it works like a scavenger from Call of the Dead. And so you can kill 5 zombies with 1 shot. Like, genuinely, it's got that much crowd control. And then, obviously, because it's a sniper, it melts abominations and manglers and everything else as well. I think it might be the best Pack-a-Punch version of any weapon in the game. Like, it's incredible. And these are the attachments I'd recommend. But again, getting it off the wall in Liberty Falls is honestly a valid way to go right now, I would say. Now, before we get to number 1, honorable mention coming in for the Beam Smasher, because it's not made this list. I actually think that it's worse than all the guns on here, but it is a wonder weapon and it is super powerful. So I figured I would just call it out as being a totally valid pick for you to include as part of your weapon lineup. And especially for the crowd control, it's nice being able to slow a horde in that way. But so far, the Beam Smasher has been kind of surpassed by the other weapons in this list. And that goes for number 1 that we're about to get to here as well. So number 1 is, drumroll please, the jet gun. It's got infinite ammo. The wave clear is incredible. It can insta-kill manglers. It can take out entire hordes of zombies. And you can use it to suck a dozen Etherellas and initiate one of the best side Easter eggs in the game, which can be used to basically insta-kill the boss on Liberty Falls. So this thing is phenomenal. One of the best weapons in the game, if not the best. And if you want a guide on sucking Etherella, I've got that linked on screen right now for you to click through to. I'll see you there, guys.